Welcome back to another Handyman Land video. Today's video we're going to talk about and install a three-way motion sensor switch. I'm going to start this from scratch. From the breaker, I'm gonna run the 14-2 wire, two new boxes in the walls. I'm gonna run hi-hats, the 14-3 wire as well. And these, I'm putting two of these, one on each end. And this is for the basement, because no one seems to know how to turn off the light once they left the basement. So the reason why I decided to make a video on these switches, because I was looking on YouTube and online, and there's not many videos out there. There's a few, and some of them are already kind of outdated, and some of the ones that are out there, they're not really explaining. They're after they have it all wired up and is working, now they would decide to film. So this one is going to be from start to finish. I decided probably the best way to film this is to draw you a diagram. Look for a clean page here. And here's our three-way switch, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. And bear with me. Going to draw my switches here. So here's my ugly drawing, my two switches, my two three-way switches. This will be our source. So we have our hotline, which is the black. Then we'll have our ground, which is on this diagram, we're gonna draw it, color it green. And our white is our neutral. So our three-way switch will have a black wire. And these will tie in together. That's a picture of a wire nut, just so you know. And here is our black wire that I'm talking about. Also, from our switch, we will have a green wire. Let's see. That's a wire nut, just so you know. Okay. Connecting that green wire will connect to our ground. And this is the source from the panel box, just in case someone's confused. And we also have a white coming from our switch. And this switch will be considered our first location. I wrote the word first there. And our green will indicate throughout the diagram that it's the ground. When there's too many lines, it can confuse our eyesight. Here's our black. This is the green that I was talking about. You'll see it. This is our ground. This green here is actually our neutral. I'll explain this one to you right now. Our neutral wire here has a heat shrink, a green heat shrink on it. The reason for that is in some applications you might not have the white as a neutral or neutral line. So in certain applications you will connect this to the ground. And if you're using that type of application, then you do not remove the heat shrink. But since we're not doing it or using it in that way, we're going to remove this green heat shrink, because that's not what we're going to need it for. And since we're running all new wire, we actually do have a neutral. And they call that retrofit replacement application. But we're not going to worry about that. And our black from our other switch connects together with our black from our hot. And I wrote second on our second switch. And our ground connects to our ground. And our white connects to our other white on the other switch. And here's my light bulb that I drew. It looks like a light bulb. Connects to our white. We could say either light or load. And our three-way blue wire goes nowhere. This wire, just put a wire nut at the end because we're not using that. Same thing goes for the other side of the switch. Now we have a red output. We're just jumping over that black line not to confuse anybody because it's not connecting on there. I don't have red, but I have some pink here. So this would be our red. That's our output, which connects to our traveler. And that red traveler connects to our other red output on our other switch. Just like so. Now our black from our light or our load, this one connects to our traveler. So this is basically how we're going to wire this up. I'll just give you a screenshot here. And just to show you how you change the settings here, it's a little tab here. Try not to break it. Okay. And right there is where you change your settings, but we'll get into that when the time comes. You just want to be careful when removing this cover because you only get one white cover. And if you break that tab, well, it's over. In the box, it does come with two other colors. One's like a eggshell. The other one's a little off-white, like a bone white. Get the white so you can see the comparison. And I'll just leave this off since I already took it off. Okay, so first things first, let's hang our hi-hats. Now, I already knew I was going to do this project, so sometime back I already ran this 15 amp breaker for lights. So you can see the white cable, that's my 14-2 wire, and I have it wired to feed two bedroom lights. So this box here will be the source of my power to run my motion sensors. But you can excuse my mess here. I've been working project after project. I'm a little unorganized here. So here's my recessed down lighting here that I'll be using. I typically get the Halo brand, but this one was on sale for 40 bucks. A 6-pack, so can't go wrong. And I'm thinking about installing, I think, 5 in this area here. Eventually there will be a wall here separating this area from this area. This will be the laundry area only. Here we have a full bathroom downstairs. I'll be using this laser level here so I can kind of get an idea where I want some of these recessed lights. You will typically hear me use the term hi-hats. That's how I was taught, and that's the word that I use. And this lighting here will be obsolete. So I'm still debating. I'm thinking I'm gonna do 4 in this area and 1 right here. So I have my laser on right now. I'm not sure if you can see that from there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put 2 in this area, 2 in that area, and 1 here. I might put 1 here as well. Not sure. I have this there. I have no idea what that is, or what it's for, what it used to be for. I mean, this is an old house, so unless it looked like a transformer of some sort. Probably there was a doorbell here. I don't know. And right here will be the other motion sensor. Some instructions there. Now I did a full video on hi-hats and a few other electrical supplies. I'll leave a link in the description for that, just in case anybody out there wants to see that. Super simple, just put it in place and hammer it in. And before hanging it, if you can kind of figure out how you're gonna go about this, I'm going in through here and coming out through this side. So I'll install these 3/8 connectors now before getting it up in the air. And just keep in mind, you want access to this area so you can open it up, so you're able to wire it up when you're in the air. Reason why I say that, I've seen when someone hammered it and the access panel was facing the wall, and then they were scratching their head how they're going to wire it. Sometimes when you're moving too fast, we're not paying attention to what we're doing. I have the first one hung, but for the next one, I have to make some adjustments. Because when I have these arms all the way in, it still doesn't fit in between my beams. If you look carefully, you can cut these down to size to make them fit. And I suggest when you do this, wear some gloves because you can easily slice your finger. Okay, once you snapped it, get some pliers and straighten this back up. That's pretty much it. Go. Okay, so I ended up installing all 6 that were in the box. 1 here, 1 down, the other one's here. So these will be like in the laundry area. This one here will be replacing this one. Another one in this area when you come in through the door, and another one in front of the bathroom door. So they're not in a perfect, square or how you would normally see it, due to the fact that we are in the basement and we have ductwork, plumbing, drain line, more drain lines, radiator lines, and some old electric that eventually I will eliminate. So now I'm going to start wiring this up. I'm going to start from the very last one and work my way to the front one. And the very last light fixture will be the one that's in front of the bathroom. Then I'll work my way to that one and then work my way to the end. It's kind of like in the diagram that I did earlier. Just that in the diagram I only put 1 light bulb. But you could say if there was another bulb here, 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 they would just wire in like so. And to connect all of these, it will be with 14-2 wire. So let's get this box out the way now that we're done with it. And here's our 14-2 wire. So I like to put my wire right underneath and I'll fish it through here till I get to that one. Okay, so if you can see, I try to always use holes that already exist. If I can avoid to make a new hole, I do. This is one of my favorite drills when I'm working on electrical. The way this drill works, going forward and reverse, is by your wrists. The cool thing about these hi-hats, they already came with some push-in wire connectors. Awesome. So this is simple. Your black with your black, your white with your white, your green with your ground. Just like that. Push our wires in now. These are the lights I'll be using, LED soft white. I picked these up at Lowe's some time back. I'm pretty sure you get them on Amazon as well. And here's how it looks. Just screw it in like a light bulb. These hooks here go inside this little latch here. There's one on each side. Just take them and squeeze. Latch it there. Latch it there. Then do the opposite side. Once you have all four in, just push up. And there you go. That's how it connects. Simple. And we won't be putting drywall here, at least anytime soon. And for those of you who are still a little confused, so this 14-2 wire is coming from our first light fixture, and this one is going to our next light fixture. Basically, we're daisy chaining all of them in a row until we get to our last one. Here's a quick note: if you need, like, let's say you're putting in a light bulb instead, if you need the inner part to come down, all you have to do is turn this wing nut here, and you can adjust the inside up or down. But we'll be putting ours in the highest setting. All right, I have all 6 of my hi-hats in place. This one here will be our last one. And our last one will be connecting to the second motion sensor switch. Our first one is where our source of the power will be coming from. That one will be mounted on this wall on the opposite side of the bathroom. Okay, and the next step is I need to run the 14-2 wire next. That will go to my secondary switch. First things first, this is the switch that we need to remove and replace. Okay, I have my outlet out. I'm going to have to cut this metal box out. I'll be using my WonderBlade for this. Just to show you what I was cutting the ear off this metal box right here. This way I can release the box and pull it out towards me. Just to show you the box I'll be replacing it with. Excuse the noise in the background. That was my daughter's kitty litter self-cleaning robot. Yeah, she purchased that. That thing was $1,000. I didn't pay for it. She loves her cats, I tell you that. It's crazy the things they make now for pets. I'm in the wrong business. Okay, so this cable here, the old one, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get that out of there. It's actually stapled down there somewhere along these, yep, 2x4 there. The goal now is I have to find this wire in the crawl space. Here's my crawl space entrance, and it should be over there somewhere. Okay, so I found the line. It's that one right there. And this line, it has no power. I've been eliminated the whole breaker to this entire line. So here it goes here. Okay. It's right there. I'm out of the crawl space, as you can see. That's the line here. See, this is alive. This is our line. And it ends up in this box where everything else is dead on this line as well. And that's why the doorbell doesn't work, because this is connecting to the doorbell. But that's another job. The reason why we eliminated that one whole breaker, someone sometime back wired everything wrong, and there was a neutral somewhere that was connected to a hot. So we just had to eliminate it, and little by little we're just going to replace all these lines and run it the right way. Oh, and how did we know there was a problem? Well, the security light that's on the outside of the house kept blowing up. It kept catching, burning, and so we knew something was wrong there. And when I checked, it actually had two hots going to it, and when the light switch was off, it would give 110. But if the other light switch was connected and it was turned on the off position, it was sending 240 to that area. Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was just crazy. But we eliminated it, and little by little we're just going to rewire that whole entire area. It's kind of hard to explain, but let's just say someone thought they knew what they were doing and they didn't know what they were doing. Okay, so I cut the line out and I drilled the hole a little bit bigger using this 7/8 drill bit. Now what I'll be using is this Centec fiberglass wire runner kit. I've used this before in another video, but that video I've never got around to finish editing it. Perhaps I should do that so you can see that video as well. If you don't know how these work, basically you just keep screwing them in together and keep running your line upward until someone, it's good to have two people with you doing this, until someone upstairs says, hey, yeah, I see it. And then you could tie your 14-2 line on here and then fish it on back. So I have my tape measure, and I know the crawl space ends about here, where it sits on the stone of the house. Can you see that? There you go. So each of those rods are about 12 inches, so I have to run at least 5 to come out through the top, and 1 extra just to give me some play to tie my 14-2 wire. But here's the thing, I also have to run the 14-3 wire as well, so I'm thinking of probably tying them together and fish them at the same time. Hopefully it works out. If you look at our diagram, this is the 14-2 wire, and then this will be the 14-3 wire. Okay, here's where I'm at. I got a little bit of help from my daughter. I was able to fish it all the way through. I fished both lines, the 14-2 and the 14-3. The 14-2 will tie into this hi-hat, and the 14-3 will have to go all the way to our first switch, which will be mounted somewhere around here. Okay, so we're getting ready to pop a hole in this drywall here. Just trying to make my mark. 48 inches off the floor. There it goes. I tell you, I'm the king of losing my work gloves. Had I had it like that, I'll put a pair in every corner. Right now I'm looking for a specific tool that I use for the drywall. If not, I'll just use a razor blade. Have my little handy wooden toolbox. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Now, before I pop this hole out, I'm gonna fish my camera down and make sure there's nothing in the way. Okay, so let's see. Where's our studs? We got one there. Okay, so we're good in the area that I chose. And there is a stud at the top, so I'm going to have to cut some of this drywall out to be able to drill a hole straight up out of that stud so I can run my cable to my source. And I have extra drywall here to patch that up when I'm done. As you can see, this wall was never painted anyway, so we're good. Okay, it's a dry fit. We're good. And we'll save this piece to patch our hole back up. And right now we're just fishing the 14-3 wire. And do not staple until you know you have the correct length. Once I fish it to this area, fish it down, pops out here at least 6 inches, then I'm good. Then I could go back and start stapling. Okay, we have our 14-3 wire going in, coming out, and we have at least, I don't know, 3 feet extra, which is okay. Just cut it, make sure you leave about good 6 inches, and then the extra you could always use it for grounding boxes and other projects, like when you're connecting one outlet to another outlet. Now we need to run our 14-2 wire. This box here will be our source, and I have to fish it all the way through and get it to come down and come out through here, just like our diagram. Okay, our 2 wires are fished out the wall. Now we're gonna I'll be sending it on in here. So we just want to make sure we cut enough. So I say about there is good. Okay, that's good there. And we'll just leave this dangling there. This will be our last connection. Have our 14.3 and our 14.2 on this side. Okay, so first things first, let's wire up all our grounds together. Okay. I usually use Wago nuts. I don't have anymore. If I do, I left them in the attic. And to get to the attic, I have to climb through the closet. There's a little opening in the closet, and I'm not going through that right now. So we're just going to use wire nuts. There's nothing wrong with wire nuts. Okay, now I am old school. I like to put electric tape on all my connections. A lot of people don't do it. They feel as though it's a waste of time, but doesn't hurt. I learned from someone when you're putting electrical tape, when you get to the end, you don't want to do this. You don't want to pull and snap it like that, due to the fact that in time, this here will eventually just come right off. So I was told, cut it. It's the best way to do it, and then just put it in, and you're not giving that tension. This tension is what eventually will release and pop off. I was told. And I honestly believe it, because there's times when I've went back to something was funny with the wiring, and when we opened it up, I found that the electrical tape was completely off. So just keep in mind. Okay, now we have our neutrals. Let's get all our neutrals together. Keep in mind, this is top. I don't know if you can see that right there. So this is the way the outlet's going. Get all our neutrals now. Okay. hots. Okay. Okay, so we have this area already done. We have our hot, our ground, our neutral connected to our switch. Now we need to do our red traveler and then our blue, which is this blue wire here, stays solo. Okay. Okay. Okay, now our blue. Everything's wired up correctly on our first switch right now. See that? Okay. A little bit more at the bottom here. Cool. So I'm gonna leave this like that for now. I left the screws in the workshop. I decided before I install the last motion sensor, probably let's talk about the settings it has to offer. Push the tab in, be careful. Okay. On this side, we have the light level. For those of you that don't know, light level on these particular switches doesn't mean dimmer. This isn't a dimmer. It's basically, let me see how I can explain this. Okay, so where I'm using this switch, I don't need to worry about light levels because the area is typically always going to be dark because there are no windows. Now, if you're in the dining room or living room where you have a lot of sunlight coming in through your windows, then you can set this and tone it down. Right now, it's set all the way counterclockwise to the highest setting, so as soon as the motion sensor picks someone up in the room, is automatically going to turn on. But if you're in a room that does get a lot of natural sunlight, then you don't need your lights on, or you just don't want them on. So then you adjust this by getting a Phillips screwdriver and turning it clockwise. And then you kind of figure out what's the best setting for you when you want this to turn on. Hope I kind of explained that. It's probably the best I could explain it. But basically, for my application, I won't need that. I'll always keep it on the highest setting where you see is like an image of a sun. That's where I'm going to keep it at. As for the right side of the switch, you see a 5, 10, 20, and 30. If I'm understanding this, because in the manual it doesn't really explain right, but to me those are minutes. That's typically, I installed a different one before, and I know on that manual it explained the right way, where it tells you that indicates minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then this is just tests. It's just for you to test to make sure that your switch is working. And just to give you a little closer view, I'm not sure if you can see right here. It's a little arrow that's on the turn button there. It shows you exactly where it's set to. And these are the factory settings. They have it on 5 minutes, and they have it on all the way close to the sunshine, which is the highest level. And if you notice in here, that's just your button. If you look at the cover right here, that's just to push your button in. That's the manual option, like you would just typically turn on and off a light switch. Right there, that's what that is. Now, our motion sensor switch did bring some wire nuts. I just completely forgot about that. Now, in our baggie, it also brings 2 screws. These are the screws we'll be using to tie our switch to our box. Okay, now we're gonna connect our secondary switch. I'm not sure if I showed these boxes yet on this video, but how these boxes work is, as you screw it in, the ears open up and it starts to tighten until it grabs inside your wall or your drywall. Okay, back to our diagram. So this side is a little different because the hot wire that's coming from all our lights connects to our traveler, as you see. And our hot coming from our 14.3 wire connects to our secondary switch. You can see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and wire this up just like in our diagram. I really don't have a place to set the camera in that position, so I'll just show you close up after I have all the connections done. Okay, everything's wired up here. You have to make sure that your black wire, you see here, that's tying into your 2 reds is coming from your 14.2 wire, not your 14.3 wire. Your black from your 14.3 wire connects to the black on the switch. Everything else is just your neutrals all together, your grounds all together, and the blues just solo, obsolete. I got this one in. This one gave me a little bit of trouble. I had to pull it out again and readjust the wires and then stick it back in, but I managed. I couldn't go with a deeper box due to the fact that I don't have that much space in the back. So, but it's in there. I'm getting there. I have one more connection to do, and that's the source. the main cable that's feeding the power to our switches and lights. I have to connect it in here. So number 31. And you always want to make sure. Got my box open. Jeez. And we're swapping out these Wago nuts for the big one. This one you could do 5 connections. Okay, we have all our connections now. Let's put everything back in the box. Okay, and on the paperwork it says you should give it at least 60 seconds before doing any adjustments if you want to change the timing or the light sensing. Okay, I have it in testing mode. If I move from this spot, it should turn on. It's working. Okay, so behind me is the bedroom. If I walk into the laundry room, the light should turn on. Let's see. Nice. Okay, right now I have it on testing mode. And my understanding, if you have it on the 5-minute mark, you should have the other one also on the 5-minute mark. Okay, so if I stay still, the light should turn off. There you go. Now let's move. I'm gonna move my hand. Nice. Okay, I'm at the top of the step with the door almost closed. When I open this door, it should pick up that I open up the door. I'm about to walk down the steps. Nice. Okay, light is off. If I walk down the steps, it should turn on. Nice, it's working. After you're done your testing, I say go with the 5-minute first. If you like it, you don't like it, you turn it to the 10-minute, 20, 30, all depends. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm on my way to Lowe's. I thought I had plaster, and I actually don't. I did have it, but when I opened up the 5-gallon container, it was all molded, so gotta go out and purchase at least a small bucket of plaster. Okay, I just arrived to my second home, Lowe's. You know, I purchased so much from here. They should give me free stuff by now, but it ain't gonna happen. It's pretty cool. You connect this to your 5-gallon bucket. You sweep your trash in the bucket. This one here is your dust control. It's only 1 quart. For the same price, you can get the 3.5 all-purpose. I wasn't looking for this one exactly, but this will do. I was looking for this one, but as the 3.5. But looks like they don't have none in stock. Next step, we're gonna cut this piece of board down here, and I marked this elsewhere right there. We're gonna stick this in the wall where we cut our drywall out. And since we're in the shop, here's a sneak peek of one of my upcoming tool review videos. Okay, we have our two pieces and this one. Okay, now for the next step. Come with the big boy. Okay, so I'm done there for now. I will just let that dry. So we're done here. Well, there you have it. That's my video on the three-way motion sensors that I picked up. These I picked up at Lowe's. And I hope this video was entertaining and enjoyable and someone learned from it. Also, I am not a licensed electrician. I am a handyman. I've been doing this for over 20 plus years. If you're not comfortable in any way whatsoever in doing any electrical, just hire a licensed electrician to help you out. Also, to me, the hardest thing probably with this product is the light sensing, adjusting it. Not that it's hard, it's time consuming. I have mine now set to 5 minutes. I kind of like it. It's pretty much, it's perfect for the area that I have it in. But in the area I have it in might not suit for you to have it at that 5 minute mark to shut down. It all depends on where you're putting it in your home and your situation, and also the lighting that's coming into the house. You're going to have to play with it. One of mine's, the one that was at the very top step, I had to adjust the light sensitivity just a little bit because it was picking up the light from the kitchen. So I had to make a slight adjustment, and I find it now it's working exactly like I want it. So for your situation, it might be different. You're just going to have to take the time to play with it. But it also helps if no one's walking around the house and messing up your adjustments, because it does take 5 minutes for it to shut down if you're doing the 5 minute mark. I think that's probably the more tedious part of this, is figuring out your light sensitivity for your house. And it's been about a week now. It's working great. I'm glad I got around to this. It's something I've been wanting to do for some time, because the light all the time is on in the basement and no one turns it off. And this is now going to save money in the long run with that light from the basement not being on throughout the night. Also, here's another screenshot of the diagram that I drew in the very beginning of this video. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.